All right, so let's get back to where we were. So I'm looking at my negative space shape to help me find my spot. And I'm going to focus on this middle finger in relation to the one behind it. All right. And you can see I'm repeatedly changing my grip on this hand from more of a drawing way of holding it to a figure drawing, or a drawing way of holding it to writing. So changing my grip so that I have different kinds of dexterity. All right, and I see some nice shadow in there. So I think we're getting closer here to having things in the right spots. So now I want to concentrate, and I have the little pinky kind of nestled in there. So now I want to start to get into shading. Because I have really harsh light where I'm sitting, I want to just go in and indicate where those overall shadows are. This has a little weirdness to it that I'm going to need to fix, but I feel like overall I'm in the right spot. Let's put my thumb back where it should be. And let's take the wrist off the page. I definitely adjusted where that was. I see a little bit of highlight poking through here. And if you need to occasionally almost outline the highlights so you don't lose them, that's good. All right, going back to the index finger. So overall, highlight and shadow. I'm not trying to make pretty marks. I'm just trying to see what's actually there. And notice again, I've barely dealt with the nails. I've barely dealt with wrinkles. Let's go in and clean up some of these edges and sketchy lines. I think you can hear my baby in the background. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's stretch it out again. All right, so back to it. You're gonna want a nice sharp pencil and go in and get crisp edges. I actually might switch to this. I think it's an HB, but it's the sharpest pencil I've got. So I'm gonna go in and try to identify the nail. I don't want you to do dark lines. I want you to do crisp lines that are going to turn into edges. So getting these little nuances in here, not focusing on outlines. That's incorrect. Let's get rid of that. So not outlines, edges. That's what we want. All right, and let's get this edge. So I see some of the wrinkles in there from my knuckle. Let's make sure that this shape is correct. All right, so now I'm gonna go in here, sorry about the strong light, and I'm just gonna clean up. I can even erase this so it's really light. And then I'm gonna go in, let's switch back to my 4B. And I just wanna get a sense of gradation. So I'm gonna blend it. Best way to draw skin is by using your skin. So create a gradation where you get that really long shadow, or I'm sorry, hard shadow. So making it dark here, and then creating a gradation. And again, you can blur and fuzz it out. That should make the finger start to feel round. If you really want to go crazy, you can absolutely play around with your background in a very subtle way, like the reductive process we did before. That's a little extreme. I'd probably want to blend that out a little bit more. so that you almost don't see that dark part. It's just the light part shines through. So that's one area I wanted to focus on, referencing the nail. Let's do that foreshortened thumb, and I won't finish this, but I'll just give you a sense of where we go from here. So the foreshortened thumb, people are always stuck on how to shade that. So again, don't overanalyze it. Just draw exactly what you see and not what you know. I'm going to do that same trick where I darken the area behind it, creating an outline that is the same tonal value as the edge. If I need to clean up any areas, I'm going to go do that. All right, and then the nuance of that thumb coming towards me. So I'm going to switch to my crisp edge on my HB and clean this up a little bit because I think that's a little off. All right, I keep moving my thumb. All right, so there's the nail in there. And then I want to pay attention to the wrinkles in the knuckle and how that flows right into the hand there. So this is very strange looking, right? Because you know my thumb is longer than that, but you're not seeing it longer than that. I'm gonna make that darker. And then as I begin to do more shading, use your eraser to pull out your highlights. So for example, I see a shine on the nail, so I'm gonna lighten that up a bit. I really don't want you to do this for the nail. I don't want you to do this kind of comic style, you know, drawing of a nail. Don't focus on that. Instead, draw whatever outline it is that you see very lightly, and then shade. Look at how the nail relates to the finger. They're two different materials. So the nail is going to be very shiny, and the finger is going to be very soft. And then if you see shading on the nail, I want you to do any kind of shading you see in there with, you know, stronger highlights and shadows and so on. So look for things like that. That's a big mistake people make. So finally, I'm not going to finish this, but I just want to show you, I want to identify where my darkest shadows are. So this is a hard edge right in there where my palm meets my fingers. That's black. So I'm gonna make that really, really dark. I'm using a 4B. You could use a 6B if you need a little oomph. So I see a hard edge where one finger meets the next. And your blending stump could be a wonderful tool here along that hard edge if you want that crisp hard edge that my finger can't get into. So that's another excellent tool for you to use. I'm gonna probably wrap this up here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me, and I'll try to post another one later in charcoal.